and welcome to Forward, Mississippi State University's television show exclusively for the College of Education. I'm Camille Carskadden, the Communications Specialist for the college, and today we have Dr. Casey Stratton-Gadke, who is the Director of the T.K. Martin Center. Welcome.
Good morning. Welcome. How are you, Camille?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. So before we start talking about the T.K. Martin Center, you have been the director for a couple of years now, correct?
Yeah, right here in December, we'll be heading a year and a half at the T.K. Martin Center. It's been such a fun ride so far.
Wonderful. So how about we begin by you telling me about yourself?
Sure. So, like you mentioned, I'm the director at the T.K. Martin Center. I've been there about a year and a half. I'm also an associate professor in the Department of Counseling at Psych and Foundation in the school psychology program, which is sort of originally how I came to Mississippi State and about my time here. And I've been with that program for about 7 years. And it's really great to be able to carry some of those skills over that I learned with the pediatric population over to the T.K. Martin Center and in that role. So yeah, it's a fun ride, and I'm also a licensed psychologist and a licensed school psychologist as well.
Great. And now the T.K. Martin Center is something that is really unique to Mississippi State, correct?
It really is. You know, it's unique to the Southeast region altogether in the United States. It's a research and service center here housed right on campus that serves folks through the lifespan with any number of unique complications or disabilities where they might need support.
Great. You touched on it a little bit, but really what does make the center so special?
Yeah, what I think is the most unique part about the T.K. Martin Center is that we serve through the lifespan. So we have a preschool program that starts with our itty bitties. I mean, we have some children that come younger than 1 year of age that can progress through that preschool program and get them ready to go into their public school or private school program that they leave us with. Usually that program is really unique in the sense of we serve students with some of the most unique developmental needs in the state of Mississippi. We have folks that come from sometimes upwards of 3 hours away to get our services each day at our preschool. So I think that's certainly one of our most unique aspects. But then, like I mentioned, we serve through the lifespan. So we might have folks who have an acquired injury that they need some support for. We have a unique wheelchair and seating and mobility lab for folks who might need mobility issues. We also have adapted drivers training and evaluation so folks can be able to be independent behind the wheel following an injury. So yeah, I think we have some pretty unique pieces that are not only unique here to Mississippi, but we have folks that come from out of state to receive those supports as well.
It's wonderful. And what other programs? I know you mentioned two, but does the center offer any more?
We do. So we have an assistive and augmentative communication lab as well. So that's to serve folks who might have communication needs. So you might picture a child with autism who doesn't yet have language to be able to use a device to communicate their wants and needs. Simple picture that you press and collect what items you want, and then the device will say aloud what information you would like to acquire. So that can be from beginning language to folks who may have ALS or have had an acquired injury. We also do have an art program called Express Yourself Art that is to serve folks with disabilities. Again, through the age range, we serve our preschool program all the way through adults who have an interest in recreational art, but would also like to come and have the advances of just a socialization with other individuals. And we've also built into that program some financial literacy as well. What makes that program really unique is that half of the proceeds from the artists that they create at T.K. Martin Center go back to the artist, and the other half help us fund the program at T.K. Martin. So we love that we're able to give folks a little bit of a paycheck for their work, and also be able to know what should I do with that check now moving forward, and build those financial literacy skills as well.
That's great. So they actually can sell their art?
They can. So we have art for sale at the T.K. Martin Center. We also have greeting cards and ornaments. We'll have some Christmas ornaments rolling out very soon. We'll also be posting some information up on our website. We're kicking off a new page very soon on the T.K. Martin Center website where we'll be able to post a catalog of what art is for sale, so folks would be able to go on and call the center and have art shipped to them if they were interested. And then certainly, hopefully, once we're out of this lovely pandemic that we've all been a part of for a long time now, we will be able to do art shows and have a gallery and those types of things available in the community as well.
Great. And who qualifies for the art program? Is it specifically maybe your preschoolers, or who would that population be?
Yeah, we certainly serve our preschoolers because they're in-house, and who doesn't love a good art class at school? But we also serve the general community. So anybody who has a disability, who has an interest in recreational art, you can come in. We have a great art coordinator who has her bachelor's degree in art and ceramics. So that's another area that we hope to be able to add some additional advances in our art opportunities or options available. But most of our artists come in and do painting, but it's open to anybody with any type of diagnosis who has an interest in coming in and do art.
And if somebody is interested in entering that program, how would they go about getting into contact?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the easiest ways is to just call the center. That's 325-1082, I believe, off the top of my head. And you can also check out our website at tkmartin.msstate.edu, and that'll direct you right over to Gracie Kahn, who's our art coordinator.
Wonderful. And going back, can you tell me a little bit more about the preschool?
Absolutely. So our preschool program is a special needs preschool option that's available for individuals from birth until about the ages of 5 or 6, when they would typically enter their regular school program. We provide all types of therapies that they may need in-house at that. So we have speech therapists, occupational therapists, and physical therapists available. We also have some support from some behavioral specialists this year coming in to help not only with some of those challenging behaviors we might get, when you think about terrible twos or those types of things, but also to help build skills. So what are the appropriate behaviors that we want to see? We have that support in-house too, as well as 3 teachers and 3 teacher assistants who are the lifeblood of that program, and just make it as special as it needs to be and as individualized as it needs to be for the students that we have in that program. We have students who have some pretty significant physical limitations, intellectual disabilities, genetic conditions, to autism, and just some global developmental delays as well. So we have a really good team on hand to make sure we're meeting individualized goals and making sure that student's showing progress.
Good. Now, y'all recently received a grant, correct?
We did. So we're really excited to have received our first Christopher and Dana Reeves Foundation grant at the TK Martin Center. So what that grant is, it's the quality of life grant, meaning for folks who have paralysis, as most folks remember Christopher Reeves as having a tragic accident and resulting in paralysis from his neck down. They really put forth a really wonderful foundation to ensure that folks with paralysis have the quality of life, the recreation, the employment that they want, as well as advancing research for paralysis. And at our center, we serve a large number of folks who experience paralysis or have CP, and they are able to come into our seating and mobility lab and be seated for classroom furniture that fits them, to be seated for electronic and power chairs, as well as manual chairs that they would need to have their mobility be advanced. But one of the things that many folks don't realize is if you spend your day in a wheelchair, you have a really high risk of skin breakdown, where there might be pressure on parts of your body that you're unable to feel that is going to lead to skin breakdown. And while that seems like a pretty simple fix, actually skin breakdown can be life-threatening, and many folks can end up hospitalized and very sick. So when we applied for this funding, we were able to get what's called a pressure mapping system to be able to pressure map every individual that comes to our center for seating and mobility needs, to be able to have their back and bottom and legs pressure mapped to make sure that there's no pressure spots on their bodies that they can't feel, and that we are not identifying just by us observing them in the chair, to prevent that skin breakdown. So we're really happy to be able to have that in place and be able to offer that for folks that are coming in from the community to receive that service. And it's just an added benefit of our already wonderful care that our biomedical engineer and occupational therapist put into that program. But we're also really excited because in that grant, we were able to receive funding to do pressure mapping days for recreational options. So if you are going to be in your tractor or on your fishing boat, or you are part of the Wheel Cats team in Mississippi and you're doing wheelchair basketball. We want to be able to make sure all of those tools that you are using to have fun and be a part of your recreational activities are also not producing any risk of skin breakdown or pressures as well. So we're going to be hosting a day in December and another one in the spring, and we'll be going around the state and joining some of our recreational teams to make sure that their chairs are fitted just the way that they need to and can make those accommodations.
That's fantastic. So why are grants like this so important to the center?
Yeah, they're critical to the center, actually. So as a research and service center at Mississippi State, we are self-funded. So we do not receive a budget from the university. They are generous in giving us a wonderful building with great space and keeping our lights on for us. But we have to keep that lifeblood pumping on the inside. So grants and donations are what we survive on as a self-funded center. So this grant not only allows us to have these options for our folks coming in, but also help to pay for our wonderful staff to be there and help support a part of their time at TK.
Wonderful. And if someone wanted to make a donation to TK Martin, where would they go and how would they go about doing that?
Absolutely. It's pretty simple. You can go right to our website, tkmartin.msstate.edu, and there is a gift button option. And once you go there, it's going to direct you to the MSU Foundation page where you'll already see our TK Martin Center Advancement Fund. And there, those dollars are used to help support the areas of our programming that are not currently covered by grants or that a grant isn't able to cover a part of that program. And so we use that advancement fund to supplement when we don't have grant dollars available to provide that support.
Okay. And usually y'all do quite a few events during the semester, but I know with COVID, y'all haven't been able to do that. Do y'all have anything planned for the spring semester?
We do. You know, with COVID, we like to be around people. That's a whole part of what our family is at TK Martin Center. So we are missing everybody, but we're happy to still serve the clients that we have coming in. We do typically do an annual fun run each year, which is one of our largest fundraisers, but we felt that it was just best to cancel that event this year. So in the spring, we're hoping that folks will join us as we're going to roll out what's going to be the TK Martin Center Dance Challenge. And so this is going to be a virtual event where we are going to encourage folks to make a donation, kind of picture the ice bucket challenge, but with dancing. And we're going to be doing a little video from our TK Martin Center family to yours. And then we'll be challenging teams to join us in that dance battle online and make a donation to TK Martin Center. So if you're a business or if you're an individual watching who is a fan of TK Martin Center, start thinking about your best dance moves and let's get it ready to roll.
Wonderful. Well, really quickly, I know we mentioned your website before, but if people wanted to know more about the TK Martin Center, where would they need to go?
Absolutely. So our website is tkmartin.msstate.edu. And there you can learn about all of our different program options. You can see what staff we have in place to see who you might directly want to care to speak to. But at any point, you can always call us and see what support we might be able to offer you. And sometimes if that support isn't something we can give you for folks in the disability community, we are happy to direct you to folks that we know around the state or area who could provide that support to you. It's one of our most common phone calls, and we're really happy to be able to offer that assistance to anybody.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, Camille. You have a great Thanksgiving.
You too. For more information, visit educ.msstate.edu.